Hey Malik, just wanted to go over these chords here that I sent over. So a couple little pointers on a couple of them that I didn't get into yesterday. But so we have the G major 7. That one was sounding good. You know, mute that A, hold it like that. Sometimes I'll hold it with my thumb here, and then the other fingers like that, or I'll switch and use these fingers. So it's just like an A minor, up to the 3rd and 4th fret, and then with the thumb there. I'd get comfortable with both. If you're just, doing the chords, you might want it like that. But if you want to start working in a melody, the thumb is good. Because then you can do that, or, and then especially if you want to do some finger style, whatever it is. In some styles of music, the thumb is really frowned upon. And maybe we've talked about this, but it's kind of gauche to be using your thumb all the time. But in jazz and certain styles of music, it's very common and very helpful. So Hendrix did it a lot with his, because you can kind of make a little bass line that way. And in jazz, you have other things. Your fingers are doing other things, so you might need. Whatever, so it's good to get comfy with the thumb, and if nothing else, you can at least mute sometimes with the thumb. You might have to do that, but eventually it's good to get that over there. So anyway, that's one of my mini tangents I go into. So G major 7 on the G sharp diminished 7. You could do all separate fingers like that, which is okay. It's a little, it's all your fingers are taken then. You don't have anything free. It's nice having a free finger here to add a little, that kind of thing. But also, I think it's a bit faster to do like that, because these fingers are stronger than your pinky, so it's kind of quicker. Maybe it's just a convention, I don't know, but I would do it this way. So bar up to the D. So you can bar those 3 strings, D, G, B, and then we'll add middle finger there and your ring finger on the 4th fret of the G. And same thing, we're gonna mute that A and mute that E. It's a little easier to mute the E on this chord than on this one, because you can kind of mute with your, on the G major 7, mute that. Anyway, so we've got G diminished 7, G sharp diminished 7, sorry. Then we're gonna go up to A minor 7. Now, A minor 7 is, it's kind of the tough one here initially. Once you get it, it's so easy. So it's a really good thing to spend a little time on and make it comfortable. A lot of people, and certainly when I was first learning these chords, I'd say, well, that's easier, I'll just do it that way. But you're a little more limited in what you can do. And, all of your fingers are being used. And it's a little more cumbersome to get to that. So I would instead suggest you take your ring finger and bar up to the D, and then get that low E at the 5th fret with your middle finger. And these are the best 2 fingers for this. It leaves these 2 free, so if you want to go down, or you can do that. But also they're a little more in line. If you try this with these 2 fingers, because your middle finger is longer than your index finger, you end up having to do it at a tough angle and it doesn't quite line up. So there's a lot of mechanics when you're trying to get into these advanced kinds of chords. So middle finger is the longest, so that's good to shoot out over to the E, and then the ring finger is a little shorter. And then this becomes a pretty quick thing. Once you get it, it's so fast. And well, why would I bother with all my fingers? I can just do that. And then this movement, especially this A minor 7 to D7. So D7 is just like C7. So C, add the pinky to make it C7. And then as long as we don't play these exterior strings, the E's, just play the interior 4, you can move that anywhere. C7, D7, E7, F7, E flat 7, D flat 7, whatever it is. But this is a really good, you can move that around. But so that A minor 7 to the D7. That movement is called a 2-5. 2, 5, 2, 5. The reason for that is if we're in G, 1, 2, so there's your 2 from the A minor, G, A, B, C, D. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. D is the 5. A is the 2. A, D, 2, 5, 1. G is back to 1. A, 2, 5, 1. When you hear people talk about how to play jazz, you hear, oh, do some 2-5s or do some 2-5-1s. And that's what that means. So you'll hear that a lot. And if we're in the key of G, we have 2, 5, 1. But you could move that to a different 2. Oh, we'll add a 2-5 here to, I guess, prolong the progression back to the 2-5-1. I forget what I did just there. But anyway, so we have G major 7, G sharp diminished 7, A minor 7, D7, B7, E7, A minor 7, D7, back to G major 7. That's a good place to start. If you can get that, or not if, you will get that, but once you get that smooth, we're in good shape. I think the other shape I should have added on that, and maybe we'll get to later, is a dominant 7. So if we're on A or G or any of these, forget that. Hold off on that. But G major 7, G sharp diminished 7, A minor 7, D7, and then you can try those everywhere. That's a lot of jazz, is just taking things that work and moving them around like that. Oh, and I just did that, so after my whole little treatise on how we should hold that, I do that a lot too, because that... So each of these chords have different ways of being held, and depending on what you want to do, you'll want to be able to hold them different ways, different grips as they call them. So it's good to practice all of these. A minor 7, A minor 7, which is really coming from A minor, lift up the pinky, A minor 7, but we don't want, that's a full chord, that's too much going on. So we want to cut that down to maybe 3 notes or 4 notes. There we go. All right, good luck.